Hello, everyone. Whew. I'm excited to go live today. I haven't been live in a while because I don't do free videos very often. All of my content is hosted in my Patreon. And yeah, but I'm excited to bring this to you. So if you're watching the replay, go ahead and comment. That way I know you're here. And yeah, let's dive into it. So before I actually dive into anything, my Mastermind Reawaken is open for enrollment. If you want to spend 12 weeks with me growing your business, working through your money programming and into 5D money, moving from creation energy to 3D money, earning money through wounded masculine codes or overly feminine, unintegrated feminine codes, moving into inviting in the divine masculine into your business. Go ahead and DM me if you have a business, an online business specifically that you are looking to grow. Hi, babe. Thanks for joining. Okay. So, I wanted to just go over two really common patterns that I help people with money. Almost everyone that I work with, like on a one-on-one basis or have sessions with, has some aspect of these two patterns. And it's really, really imperative that we heal these. It's really imperative that we look at these, because it's really like the alchemy of like bringing the shadow to light, right? And one of these wounds that I see, the investing wound, is really closely connected with the coaching industry and or the personal, professional development industry, all that kind of stuff. And it's really interesting for like an industry that has such a hard on, for lack of better words, for like the shadow work. This is like a piece of the shadow of the coaching industry that is rarely ever brought to light. And usually if it is brought to light, it's brought to light in a really like disempowering way. It's brought to light in a really like reactive way, that kind of thing. So I'm excited to dive into this because I really feel the need for this healing, right? Collectively. So let me know if you're watching the replay or if you're live here now, let me know if this resonates with you at all, right? If you've hired a coach in the past or you've hired support in your business in the past and you felt like oversold, right? You felt like someone oversold you, or you paid a lot of money for something, or you paid a certain amount of money for something and then you were underserved, right? The support wasn't what it was outlined as. It was really surface level. You didn't get what you were expecting to get out of it, right? The marketing maybe was really beautiful and really alluring and high end. And then the back end of the program was not so much, right? The back end of the program lacked substance. You didn't get an ROI from it. You felt scammed, so to speak. You felt taken advantage of. You felt like you were sold on something, right? This is so common. No matter the current financial level of people that I'm helping, this is somewhat of a really universal experience where we've spent money on something and we didn't get what we were told we were going to get, right? Or we didn't get what we were expecting to, the benefit that we were expecting to receive from it, right? And beyond the like co-creative dynamics of that. I go into this in my Patreon, my 5D Money Leader Patreon. I have my intuitive investing course hosted in there. And I go into the energy dynamics of a client or a customer purchasing in a disempowered energy from someone that is overselling them and how that's actually it's co-creative. It's an energetic match, right? You're an energetic match for someone scamming you if you are feeling disempowered in your financial decisions, right? So that is an energetic match, but beyond that energetic match, there's a lot of guilt and shame that comes from that, right? There's a lot of feelings that if they're not healed, right, the cycles will keep repeating. So that's how programming works, right? We're programmed that we as individuals spend money in this way. We are spending money in this way. And then we spend money in a certain way and it's a mistake, and we make a mistake, and the investment or the purchase that we made didn't pan out the way that we wanted to. Hey Charity, thanks for joining. The investment we made didn't pan out the way we wanted to, right? So then we contract into, I feel guilty for paying for this. I feel shame around this. I feel embarrassment. I feel all of these feelings around it. Ultimately, we contract back in. We're usually not expanding from that place of feeling bad about our financial decisions, right? Usually that's not a point of expansion. Usually that is a point of contraction. And when we contract back, then the next time we go to actually make a financial decision, the next time we actually go to invest in a coach, for example, right? Or make a big purchase, especially in our business, we are already operating from that contraction energy because we didn't move out of it from that prior bad decision that we made, the prior mistake that we made with money, right? So we keep almost like like the momentum keeps building behind that one bad financial decision, because we are always like almost like carrying that baggage with us into our next financial decision, right? And this is where you see cycles repeating. So if you've really had a lot of awareness around your money story, right? You've had a lot of awareness around your money story, and you're noticing that every couple years or every couple months, you go through the same patterns with money, you go through the same cycles. That's what I'm talking about, right? Because there's a reason, there's an origin point of that cycle. And a lot of times it happens after we made a bad financial decision. So bringing that shadow, right? Bringing that aspect of somewhat of a universal experience with money, bringing that out to the light and really saying like, this actually gets to be okay. These are the decisions I've made, and alchemizing that guilt and shame into, at the very least, neutrality, right? Because when we're neutral, we can expand. We don't have to have this undying like gratitude and acceptance for that mistake we made in order to expand from it, right? At the very least, learning the lessons of discernment are important to take with you. So bringing that shadow into the light is going to be really powerful, and that usually starts with the awareness. It starts with the awareness that you have the guilt and shame to begin with, just to be honest with you. So that's a really common thing I see. That's a very common pattern when I'm working with women with their money. There's a surface level symptom that essentially shows up, and then it usually shows up in their business, like, I manifest this situation in my business, or this is a cycle that always repeats in my business, and money feels hard, or I can make a lot of money, but it doesn't feel consistent. It doesn't feel like I can, I still don't feel stable even after having this much money, right? It'll show up as a symptom of that, but it in reality, it does tie back. It has an origin point. And when you just have awareness around what that origin point was, when your programming changed, you can start to work towards making better decisions. And what that can even look like is something silly as like you're buying a coffee and you're affirming to yourself that that was a good decision for you to make, right? You're making a purchase in your business, for new software or something, and you're affirming to yourself, this was actually a good decision. I did a good thing today. Hey, Christine, thanks for joining. So it starts with affirming the smaller decisions that we're making and recognizing that when we're aligned with abundance, we're going to be aligned with abundance no matter what, essentially, right? And if there was a lesson that we needed to learn on the way, or there was some sort of knowledge that we needed to pick up on the way, ultimately that's going to still lead us to the abundance that we're aligned with, right? So that's the first really, really common cycle that I see. And The second one is if your first introduction to abundance was something like some sort of large windfall that you didn't work for. This is really common too. So whether that was like a large inheritance, like maybe you had a family member die, maybe it was like winning the lottery or something, some situation in your life where you received a lot of money without working for it. And I think especially if it is like something like an inheritance or something like a settlement or something like that, ultimately, like, you didn't work for it, right? And we're conditioned to see money as the result of an action we took. We're conditioned to see money as the result of a preset list or tasks of things that we do. When really, I mean, we know deep down that it's an energetic exchange, right? But even having the connotation that it's an energetic exchange, like, alludes to the fact that you need to put something in to get something out of it, right? So when we receive a large windfall and we didn't work for it, especially if it's a death in the family, because then your programming really can't handle it then, right? Your conditioning really can't handle it then, because you probably don't feel really good about how that money ended up showing up in your bank account, right? Or how that money ended up showing up in your life, because it was the direct result of something negative happening. So you start to like essentially what happens is you start to spend that money in like a dirty way. It didn't feel good to receive, so now it's not going to feel good to spend it, right? It doesn't feel good to spend that money. So this is where you get into almost like self-sabotage with the money, where you go into patterns of like overspending. You go into patterns of spending in ways that when you look back really didn't feel good, because you have essentially completely broken that conditioning that you didn't work for it. It wasn't the result of an action you took. It wasn't the result of an equal or opposite action that you took, right? If we think about bringing large amounts of money into our lives through the lottery, right? That's a much more positive example than like an inheritance from like a family member. If you're thinking about like the action that you needed to take and then the result for it, the action is so minimal, right? The action is you go out and you buy a ticket. The result, and you scratch it, or you look up the numbers the next day or something, right? The result has the potential to either be nothing, like a minor loss, or this astronomical windfall, this astronomical receiving experience. And so sometimes you'll even see like that struggle too, and you'll see this pattern show up in your business, because if you were someone that worked really hard previously, especially if you've been in jobs before where you've had to work really hard, you've been stressed out, that's how the dominant pattern that you receive money is through stress, or through hard work, or through completing a lot of tasks and taking a lot of action. Then that's going to be a challenge on your nervous system when you have a spiritual online business where you take this much action and you receive this much, right? And this is where I like tying in income to impact, right? Your income and your impact grow simultaneously, not necessarily the actions you're taking or the work you're doing, it's your impact. So as my impact grows, it's only natural that my income is going to grow, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm taking more action. That's a really logical way for your psyche and your energy to agree with that, right? Rather than feeling like we need to break so much patterning, we need to like break this paradigm of receiving money. Let's just develop a belief that already kind of agrees with that, of your impact and your income growing simultaneously. And then you're disconnecting the action piece from the outcome, right? And this is why, and so how this cycle shows up is money always feels hard. Money always feels difficult. Money always comes in a really stressful way. It doesn't come from ease, flow, fun, passion, purpose. It doesn't come from those things. It comes from stress, hard work, taking a lot of action, completing a lot of tasks, all of that kind of stuff, right? So so these are two really, really powerful cycles that I see show up. And really it's not just how you're earning money or how you're bringing money in. Both of these patterns end up like coming full circle and impacting how you're spending the money too. And then how you're spending the money stops feeling good. And then it cycles back to the cycle of now earning doesn't feel good. Now spending doesn't feel good. Now earning doesn't feel good. And then before you know it, it's almost like you've dried up your source, right? You dry up the connection with the source. You dry up that connection with money feeling fun and easy and passionate and purposeful and all of that kind of stuff, right? Because you've built that conditioning cycle. You've built that feedback loop with how you've been spending it. And you spend it dirty because it doesn't feel good to earn, right? So this is a really big topic. Please let me know in the comments, especially if you're watching the replay, but also if you're watching live too. Let me know if this resonates with you. Let me know if those two scenarios that I just described, those two really common patterns have showed up in your life before. And then I have two things for you. So first I have my 5D Money Leader tier inside my Patreon. This is where my intuitive investing workshop is hosted. So if you join, it's $8 a month. You get access to my community, and then you also get access to that workshop. The second thing is my Reawaken Mastermind is open for enrollment till March 16th. Definitely resonates. The work hard thing for sure. Yeah. These things are really common. So the Reawaken Mastermind is open for enrollment. If you want to spend 12 weeks with me, basically working through the frequency in which you're receiving money and really focusing on growing your business in a way that feels sustainable and growing your business in a way where you're receiving money from your highest frequency of freedom, expression, abundance, purpose, all of those kind of things. This is a really high touch container. This is going to be an experience where there's a lot of dedication on both sides, right? There's a lot of energetic commitment to this container. Financial commitment, of course, as well. But this is for someone that is focused on growing their business. This isn't my general, typical money manifestation workshop that I offer. This is focused towards coding money to come in through your business, which is connected to your divine purpose, connected to your passion, connected to freedom and abundance and self-expression, and coding money to show up in that energy. Coding money to show up in that energy and working through any sort of self-worth, self-doubt, but also like self-sabotage. And how that shows up in your business is usually through earning money through wounded masculine energy, right? So clearing out the wounded masculine energy and inviting in divine masculine. As we invite in the divine masculine, that's where structural changes happen, right? That's where we get to really feel in our feminine energy when we're earning money, and the divine masculine structures in our business support that. It supports our feminine energy in business. So if you want to join me for that, find out more information, see if it's a good fit for your business, go ahead and DM me and I can get you the information for that. And yeah, you guys have a good day. Thanks for watching.